Alright, so we're given that two triangles are congruent and we want to find the measurement or the value of something like x. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we're setting the parts that are congruent to each other equal. What I need to make sure I do is look at my congruent statement. I see that I have a value of x over here. So when I look at this side is LK. I'm going to go ahead and look at those letters and see what they correspond with in the congruent triangle, which is BA. So that would be this side over here. Okay, so I know in the picture it might appear that we need to match it up with 86, but we don't. Okay, these two yellow sides that I highlighted are congruent because the congruent statement says so. So that means I can set their values equal. So I'm going to do -10 plus 6x equals 62. So I'm going to get -10. Oh, actually, let's add that 10 to both sides. So I would get 6x equals, full of mistakes today, 6x equals 72 when I add the 10. And now I'm going to divide by 6. So I get x equals 12. So that would be my answer on this one. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next triangle. So in the next triangle, it says QRS is congruent to WSU. I want to find, it told me find X. This one doesn't have X, so I'm going to find N in this one, because that's my variable. Okay, N is over here. It's part of this angle, angle Q. Okay, if I look at Q, Q is corresponding with W. So I need to go over to angle W, which is over here. And these are the ones I'm going to set equal to each other. So I'm going to get 3n plus 6 is equal to 63. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So I get 3n is equal to 57. Okay, and now I'm going to divide. And I get n equals 19. Okay, please make sure if you didn't write it down that you need to skip 18 and 20. We're not doing those problems, okay? Alright, for number 19, we're trying to see if the two triangles are congruent and justify our reasoning. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw the two triangles. So my first triangle, it says ABC. And I'm going to go ahead and label some of my angles. So angle A, that one was 40. And angle C was 30. Okay, it did not give me angle B, but really quickly I'm just going to figure it out by doing 40 plus 30 and then subtracting that from 180. So angle B is going to be 110. Okay, they also gave me triangle DEF. Okay, in triangle DEF, they told me that angle F was 30. They told me that angle E was 100. They also told me that segment AC, which is this segment here, is congruent to segment DF, and both of those were 13. So I'm just going to mark those sides congruent. Okay. Now, I'm going to find this missing angle D. Okay, I would do the same method. 100 plus 30 would be 140. And I would subtract that from 180. And I would get, sorry, 100 plus 30. It's not 140. 100 plus 30 is 130. I would subtract that from 180 and get 50. So this angle over here is 50. Okay, now we have a problem here because not all the angles match up. So if not all the angles are matching up, we would say no, they are not congruent. And then we would need to list our reason because angle, it looks like angle D is not congruent to A, and also angle B is not congruent to angle E. Okay, so that would be a good reason why. Alright, let's take a look at problem number 21. Okay, in problem number 21, it's given us two more triangles. I'm going to draw triangle A, B, C. And it tells us that A is 20 degrees. It tells us that C is 70. Okay, I can find the missing one. 20 plus 70 is 90. So 180 minus 90 is 90. So the missing one must be 90. Okay. Now, it gives us angle E in the other triangle. Is 90. So I can label that one. It also told us angle D was 20. Now, in the second triangle, I can go ahead and find the missing angle. So that missing angle, by adding, gives me 110, and subtract from 180 gives me 70. So I get all the angles so far congruent. Now, just because the angles are congruent doesn't mean that the triangles are congruent. Okay? Angle, angle, angle does not prove congruence. But they did give me information about one of the sides. Okay? They told me side AB, which is over here, and side DE, which is over here, are congruent. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark those congruent. So now that I have that these sides are congruent, I can maybe use one of my congruence theorems. Okay, because before I couldn't use angle, 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 but now I can say yes, they are congruent by, and now I could maybe use angle, side angle, or angle, angle, side. Okay, so they are congruent by angle, side angle, or also they are congruent by angle, angle, side. Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and write a statement that indicates the triangles in each pair are congruent. Really what it wants is a congruent statement. I'm going to match up the angles. So I see angle R and angle R have the same matchup there. Angle V has two arcs, so that's matching up with the other one that has two arcs is Q. So when I'm writing my triangle congruent statement, angle R in the first triangle goes with angle R in the second triangle. Angle V would go with angle Q. And last but not least, I would have S has three markings and so does T. So that means those are congruent. So I would say T is from the first triangle, RVT, is congruent to triangle RQS. Making sure everything pairs up accordingly. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. A has one mark, so does J. So those are a corresponding pair. So in the first triangle, A would be matching up with in the second triangle, J. Now I'm going to look, it looks like B has two arcs, so does K. So B in the first triangle goes with K in the second one. And last, C has three arcs, so does I. So C would go with I.